welcome. Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for coming to Making Sense of Men filming event. Are you guys all excited that maybe you can make sense of men? Anyone in here? Yeah, I mean, you came here in this heat. You must have something at stake to be here, right? And anyone maybe skeptical, thinking like, really? Can I really make sense of men? Anyone thinking that? Yeah, thank you for your honesty. I totally understand. And just so you know, making sense of men is not as hard as you think. It just takes a little bit of a perspective change and also a lot of patience and interviews from actual men. So often, unfortunately, the mistake that we make as women is when we have trouble with men, what do? We talk to other girlfriends and be like, so he said this, what does it mean? Oh, he did this, what does it mean? And we get the perspective of women, which is not always same as men. So today, the information that I'm going to be giving you is all coming from men. We have interviewed, I personally have interviewed hundreds of men, and my organization and my teacher all together have interviewed thousands of men. So they all come from a valid source. So you're in a good hand. So let me make sure that you guys are here in the right place. So how many of you being frustrated by men? Anyone in here being frustrated by men? Oh, okay. All the time, yes. And then anyone's being confused by men? Anyone? Okay, yes. They speak completely different language, yes. I know, and it sounds same as what we're saying, right? So we like interpret it the same way. And it's like, oh, that's not what you meant, really? But when I say that, that's what I meant. That's why I teach English. So, and then you know what happens when things doesn't work out or when they don't do what we expect them to do, then we blame them, right? Oh, he's such a jerk, he's such an idiot. Exactly. Or we point finger to ourselves, like, oh, I should have known better. And it's really no one's fault. It's just learning another language. So just like I mentioned before, if I'm over here speaking to all of you in Japanese and expecting you to understand me and be like, how come you guys don't get it? Are you guys stupid? Right? You're not stupid. I'm just speaking in a language that you don't understand. And if you're talking to me in English, and if I didn't comprehend English, it's not that you're just being mean, speaking the language I don't understand. No, you're just speaking your native language. So what I do here is actually being an interpreter. So what I see that's really heartbreaking for me, most of the time, men are actually doing so many things for us. They want best for us, and they're working really hard to do something great for us. But then because we don't know how to interpret what they're doing or what they're saying, they get in trouble. So if you could understand what they're saying or what they're doing, and instead of saying, oh, if it were me, I wouldn't do that, or if it were me, it means this, then you'll be able to have a much better relationship with men. So is anyone up for that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So couple of things. So for you to get the most out of today, right? You're busy New Yorkers and someone from out of town too. Your time is very valuable. And I want you to leave here getting a lot from it. When you're here for 2 hours, I want you to feel like, oh my God, this was the best 2 hours I spent in here. And I can't do that myself. So what I need you to do in order for you to have the best 2 hours of your life or of this year is for you to participate. So participation looks like, maybe I'll ask you to repeat after me. What are you gonna do? Participate, okay? Can you say participate with me? What are you gonna do? Participate, yes. So it may seem silly, but when you can actually repeat after me, and I'm going to be teaching you effect of attraction, which is very important for those of you who are in a dating world, or for those of you who are in a committed relationship. If you're out on a date and you're like, wait, what was that thing Michelle said? if you actually repeat it after me, yeah, right, then it's like, wait, that silly thing we all said together. There's more chance that you'll be able to remember as opposed to you just sitting back and going, okay, let's see if she can prove it to me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll ask you to participate. And then also the other thing that's very helpful for you and helpful for me is laughing. Okay, let's try that together. You guys are good. Okay, so laughing makes me feel good for you to give me a lot of the goodies that I brought you here for. But also, when you laugh, your brain's plasticity changes. And it becomes like a 5-year-old brain when you get a lot more information. So 5 seconds after you laugh, you get a lot more information than if you're just like this. Make sense?
Yes.
So laugh a lot here and laugh a lot anywhere when you're trying to learn something. And I like smiley face. So if you can have just, smiley face or laughing. And I'm originally from Japan. So my sense of humor may be a little bit different from you guys. Mm-hmm. But if I look like I'm trying to be funny, can you just laugh anyway? Yes, that's it. Thank you. Okay. So that would be the best way for you to get the most out of today. So what we teach you here is how do you get best out of men? We often think there is the bad guy and the good guy. Right? There's 2 different kinds of people out there. But the truth is, most of the time, same guy could be bad and good. So what I teach here is what can you do to bring out the best in them? Just think for yourself. You have people in your life who bring out the worst in you, right? There are people who you're agitated and then you say things that you regret later. And there are people that you just love yourself around. You don't know why, but you feel so smart, you feel so happy. So same thing for men. That you can bring out the best in them or you can bring out the worst in men. So most of the time, it's not who they are. It's how you relate to them and what you bring out in them. So if you know that, you have much more power. How many of you ladies are looking, like dating or looking for men? Okay, a lot of you. So for those you single girls, I think in New York, we often say, there's no good men left in New York City, right? Because there's so many wonderful men out there that because we don't know how to bring out the best in men, we're bringing out the worst in men and thinking, okay, there's no good men left over here. So now, after today, you know how to bring out the best in men in the area of effects of attraction. Is that something you want to learn?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll just give you a quick background. The information that I'm teaching you come from my teacher, Alison Armstrong, and I'm sure a lot of you know her. Who knows her? Okay, great. So she started studying men in 1991. She hated them. She was frustrated by them, confused by them, hurt by them. Anyone's been there? Most of us, right? So she only started studying men coming from the perspective of know your enemy. Right? She's a smart woman. She's like, why is it I can be so successful in so many areas of my life, but not with men? I think some of you are there too, right? Yes. Yeah, so she started studying men, thinking, okay, it's only gonna take me like 3 months because they're so shallow, right? What's there to learn about men? That was in 1991. Yes. And now, what is that? 27? Yeah. 27 years later. She's still studying men, but now she's the biggest advocate of men. And she's someone men come to find about themselves. Because she has this brilliant brain. She has the brain of engineers. So she sees things and see things working. Then she will figure out, okay, what it is that she's doing that works with him. And then she reverse engineer that. So I studied with her. I did this workshop called the Queen's Code Workshop or Celebrating Men, Satisfying Women. Some of you in this room has done that workshop. When I was 27, 17 years ago. And it changed my life. I only did it because I had a college sweetheart that I loved dearly, but I didn't understand him. I used to call him alien because I didn't get anything out of him. I'm trying to pull information out of him and nothing was coming out of him. And I didn't understand him. It was really frustrating. So I took the workshop and things changed drastically. Not only he started to tell me all these things that I ever wanted to know, and I found out that I was the one that was blocking him from telling me that, but also everything, all men, it was like very shallow. I just wanted to fix my relationship with him. But then everywhere, my boss started to tell me all the things that he doesn't tell anyone else. So I'm the first to know. Right? My colleagues will tell me things that they don't tell anyone else. So when you start to have a good communication, when you can be trusted, then you're inside, and they would want to do things for you. And I'll talk a little bit more about how can you have men provide for you a little bit later today. But I started to have life where sometimes, well, a lot of times, I don't even have to ask. But they just bring things for me or give things for me. I was known as a food magnet because everyone was bringing me all those homemade food, and mostly men. But they would be like, hey, here's an onion tart that I made this weekend. Oh, here's a beef brisket. And here's the, pie. And they just, and I had no relationship with them, right? No romantic relationship with them. They just wanted to make me happy. And also the places that I work, I do graphic design as well as healing on top of teaching women how to understand men. And the places I go, I go as a freelancer. I hate being tied down. I love freedom. Anyone in here love freedom? Yeah. So whenever people offer me a full-time job, I'm like, no. But, the thing is, the reason that people want to have a full-time job is because you want to have stability, right? And the great thing is when you have a great communication, then you can have a stability and freedom at the same time. So I'll show up for like 1-day gig and they'll keep me for 5 years. Or, 1-week gig and I'm there for 12 years because they want to spend more time with me. So my skill set, I think is okay. But when you have a great communication skill, and this information works with men as well as masculine women that you work with. How many of you work with masculine women? Yeah, a lot of the women in New York, me included, are very masculine. So this communication style works with men as well as women who's in the masculine mode. And when you know how to communicate with them, then they don't want to let go of you. They want to keep you around. So today I'll tell you a little bit about how you can do that so you can walk out being charming and enchanting and being able to have men provide for you. Are you up for that?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll talk about 8 most attractive qualities in women. And we're often very confused about what has men think attractive about us. Why we're shooting in the dark, we do so many different things and hoping that he would like it. Well, I'll tell you the 8 most attractive quality in women that has been proven. I actually led an intro just like this. This generally is women only, but I had an intro the other day where there's one man who really wanted to be there, so he sat in the front row. And every point that I made, he was nodding. I mean, this came based on the research, so I knew the information was valid. But when it was validated with the presentation, I'm like, okay, we're good. So trust me with this eight attractive qualities. And then also the 6 ways that men respond to attraction. It's a clear and predictable way they respond. But we often get confused on the attraction with men, right? It's like, oh, what is he doing? There's a mixed signal. After you learn this, there won't be any mixed signal. Is that a good news?
Yes.
Okay. So the effect of attraction. The thing is, there are 2 kinds of attraction. And most of us don't know that. So what we often do is we work really hard to try to get attention and hoping that will turn into affection. Has any of you done that? Yeah. So even like Disney movie, right? And then, I mean, if you read Cosmo and all that stuff, right? It's like, okay, how do you get men's attention, right? Okay, the big boobs and all those things. And then we work really hard on that. So what you need to know is that there is and you have a handout over there you can pull out. It says effect of attraction. So the one side is sexual attraction. Okay, what's the one side?
Sexual attraction.
Yes. Let's say it one more time together. Sexual attraction. Yes. And what do you get on that side? Attention. Okay, what do you get on that side? Attention. Yes. And then the other side, what we call charmed and enchanted. That side, you get affection. What do you get on that side?
Affection.
Yes. So these 2 are caused by 2 completely different things. But we don't know that. And that's what causes our confusion. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the sexual attraction. Because although we know a lot about sexual attraction, most of us don't know the most important things about it. Does it work for you, ladies?
Yes.
Okay, so how we're going to do is I'm going to share with you the 4 most sexually attractive quality in women in reverse order. So when I hit number 1, I want to hear the drum roll, like this, yes? Can you practice? Yes, that's it. Okay, so let's start with number 4. So the number 4 most sexually attractive quality in women is?
Curves?
Shiny hair. What is it?
Shiny hair.
Yes, oh, you guys are so good, in sync too. Okay, so shiny hair. And you may be thinking, what, seriously, really? That's so superficial. That's crazy. But have you noticed we spend a lot of time and money for our hair? You walk into Dwayne Reed, or you can go into Italy and like any sort of drugstore, and there's whole piles of hair product. So we don't know this, but our instinct is having us have a shiny hair. And do you know why that is?
Fat.
Yes, fat.
With fat, and fat is fertility.
Yes, thank you.
Fertility is sexy.
Yes, so let me explain that. So the shiny hair comes from women having enough fat in our body. And when we have enough fat in our body, then we are fertile. We can have a baby. So the men, going back to the cavemen, right? This is an instinct. So men here don't even know why they're after shiny hair. Right? And then I even have that instinct too. When I see those like really shiny hair, straight ones, I'm like, ugh. So what's happening to men during that time is their instinct is going, you got a shiny hair. I need to wine and dine you so you can have my baby. That's what their instinct is telling them, but they don't know it. They don't know why they're so attracted to it. And this happens even with the men who doesn't need children anymore. It's very instinctive. So for those of you who's thinking, okay, I don't really have shiny hair. Or, this summer, right, when there's a humidity, oh my God, I have to work so hard to get shiny hair. God, do I need to spend all that time, money, and energy? No, don't worry. I have a good news for you. So when we do our weekend workshops, we always have panel men. And there's 3 to 4, sometimes 5 panel men comes in front of the room, and they answer questions. So they answer questions like, what's attractive about women, right? And then they give us answers that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So at one of the panel, we're asking that same question, and one of the men poked the other guy and said, so what percentage of these things, right, what I'm going to give you, the 8 most attractive qualities in women, or actually the 4 on the sexual side, what percentage of these things do you need to have in order for you to want to go to bed with her? What percentage of these things that I'm going to give you later on do you need to have in order to want to go to bed with her? What do you think the percentage was? Anyone? 0, 50, okay, somewhere in the middle. Not quite middle, but yes? 25, a little bit lower? 10, lower?
5.
Yes, 5%. 5% of any of those things, any of those 4 things I'm going to give you today, and he would want to go to bed with you. So, 5%, that's probably like 1 strand of hair. So put a coconut oil in 1 strand of hair, have a shiny hair, and be attractive. Okay, so that's a shiny hair. That's number 4. And then now on to number 3. Number 3 is shapely body. So what's the number 3?
Shapely body.
Yes. And just so you know, men has a wider definition of shapely body. So we think that shapely body means the supermodel or Sports Illustrated swimsuits figures. No. They all have different types. Some like it like this, some like it like this. Right? I'm from a country where I think a lot of men are attracted to the stick figures. Right? I think things are changing a little bit, but also there's other countries where, the bigger the better. So it's not that what you see on the magazine, the supermodels, are what men are attracted to. So every man has their type. And what you want to do is finding out who likes your body the way it is. So whose type is your body, right? You walk around, and if you turn around, you often find some guy checking you out. Then that means you are his type. So you want to go out with those guys. Instead, you know what we often do? We find a guy that we fall in love with, right? Maybe someone who's tall, dark, handsome, attractive. It's like, wow, who is he? What does he like? Right? We go look for his preference information. And we contour ourselves. So if we met him at a party, then we'll be asking our girlfriend, like, what does he like? What's he into? And then maybe you find out he's into mountain biking. And you just walk to him casually and be, hey, how are you doing? Oh, what do you do? Oh, really? Yeah, my hobby is mountain biking. When you haven't rode a bike since you're 14. Have you done that? Most of us has done some sort of that. So before I knew all this information and I was in the dating scene, I went out with tall, dark, handsome doctor who was pure muscle. He was playing ice hockey. Oh my God, he was so hot. And you can think of your version of it. And when you went out with those guys, what do? We contour ourselves, right? I was putting the fake eyelashes on, perfect makeup, no flow, shiny hair, push-up boobs, sucking my garden, and high heels. And I'll be freezing my butt at the ice skating rink. going, oh, I love watching you play ice hockey. I have never, ever watched anyone play ice hockey, even on television, before I met him. Anyone else has done anything like that? Yeah, right? So what we need to do is, instead of contorting ourselves like that, because he's so hot, we want to find men who loves you for who you are. So one of the men I was in long-term relationship with, he was 6 years younger than me. And I was always worried in the beginning of a relationship for him to see my face without makeup. I knew all this information, but I didn't believe it. And so the makeup was the last thing that comes off before I go to bed, and then I put it right back on when I wake up before he sees me, right? All that. And then, I don't know, a couple months went by, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to a yoga class. I don't want to have to put makeup on. I'll just put my hair in ponytail, and I'll just, put clothes on, and I'm just going to run out. He's not going to see me. So I was about to run out, and he saw me, and he said, oh. And I'm like, shit, he saw my face. Oh my God, what is he going to say? And the next thing he said is, you look so hot. I was just like, what? I was like ready to run out the door, and that's what he says. And like, my hair is in ponytail, no makeup, yoga clothes, right? But that's what he find attractive. And what I found is, for most men, I'm not going to say every man, but for most men, they actually love women without a makeup. They want to see who you are, the authentic version of who we are, instead of contorting ourselves. So the shapely body, the lesson here is for you to find a man who love your shape, not 10 pounds lighter, not after a makeover, but the way you are, instead of contorting yourself. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now number 2. Are you ladies ready for number 2?
Yes.
Okay, so number 2 is sensuality. What's number 2?
Sensuality.
Yes, sensuality. So sensuality is focusing on your senses. So it could be the touching the cat, right? The purring cat, you're feeling really good touching the cat. Or it could be the melting chocolate in your mouth, or watching the sunset by the beach, but just being taken by the senses. So let me demo it for you. And if I did a good job, you can upload me. So here's my delicious water that I grabbed from the filtered machine. And oh my God, this tastes so good. They put something in the, you guys should all have this. All right. So something along that line of really, and of course I'm focusing on you guys too, so it's not that easy to focus, but focusing on the senses of your joy, whatever senses you have. And the enemy of that for most of us is multitasking. I'm not saying we shouldn't multitask, right? We gotta get our shit done. But most of the time, we are eating, or actually we're shoving food in our mouth, working, maybe babysitting, or playing, some YouTube on the side, and we're not focusing on anything. And even if we're out on a date, we're so concerned about, okay, I'm going to meet this other guy 2 hours later, or I need to go meet my girlfriend, or going to a movie, right? We normally often, as New Yorker, have 3 things lined up in one night, right? And then we're not focused. And when we're having dinner, we're not like, wow, this beef brisket, or vegetable casserole, for those of you who's vegetarian. We're not doing that. We're just like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh. And we're not really experiencing our senses. So what I want you to do is actually put things maybe below you, and I want you to close your eyes. Okay, so don't have your pen in your hand. And I want you to experience your skin. So put one hand over the other and just caress gently and feel how soft, and if you can, close your eyes and feel how soft your hand is. Yeah, and just focus on that sense. And if you're thinking, oh my God, I need to use hand cream, don't worry, men's hands are much rougher. This is much softer than men's hand. Okay, good job. Okay, now you can open your eyes. So do you understand the sensuality?
Yes.
You can take a break from multitasking, right? You can choose to. And pick time to actually just focus on your senses. And that's what's attractive to men. And the great news is, you don't have to wait. You can start like right after tonight, right? When you go out or even in here. You can start to feel really good with your senses. When you girls go out, have a dinner or have a cocktail, and then watch and see how many guys are watching you. And let me know, okay? Okay, so that's my challenge to you. All right, so the next one. Okay, and what are you doing for the number one? Are you ready for number one? Yeah, drum rolls. Okay, thank you. So number one is sexual energy. What's number one?
Sexual energy.
Yes, sexual energy is the energy that women put out when she's ready to put out. It's that simple. So think of a time. Maybe you used to work at the office, maybe you still do, and you have a hot day coming up. But you have a meeting or you work at a conservative place, so you couldn't wear anything too sexy or too revealing, but you're in really sexy lingerie inside. And no one can see that, no one knows that, but every guy in the office is looking at you, turning their head going, did you lose weight? Did you change your hair? What did you do? And you're like, how can you tell? That's because you are feeling and thinking you're sexy. So what I want you to do, you can write that down too, but I want you to look at the person next to you and point to her and say, you are sexy when you feel and think you're sexy. Can you turn to the person and I'll say it with you. You are sexy when you feel and think you're sexy. And then, okay, point towards you. I am sexy when I think and I feel I'm sexy. Get it?
Yes.
Turn into mantra.
Yeah, so before you go on a date,
Say.
that's all you have to do. Just think of that in your head. For those of you who is from Tony Robbins' world, you can even do incantation. So the enemy of that is, most of the time, we don't have enough energy. Who is tired? Anyone? Yeah. We're so busy, right? We don't have enough energy left in us. So what if you learn to speak Manglish so that men in your life can do things for you, so that you can take a nap and have more energy? Or maybe you can start to honor what's important to you and stop running around. Right? Because, I mean, I'm guilty of that too. New York has so many things that we can be doing. And there's that, how do you call that? MOFO?
FOMO.
Yes, thank you. FOMO, yes. So there's that. But also, what's important to you? You know, we're just like scratching the surface when you're doing so many things and you're not focusing on that. So two things you can choose, right? If you actually want to have sexual energy, then you just need to figure out what's important to you. Or learn how to communicate with men so they can provide it for you while you're taking a nap. Okay, so the last two, number one and number two, sexual energy and sensuality. You can start right now. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how old you are, how you look like. You can turn it on like that, right? All you have to do is take a nap and then stretch. And that's all you need. So now what I want to teach you, what's most important, is the result of what you get. So the response of what you get when you have those 4 things. Would you like to know?
Yes.
Okay. So the response you get when you have these 4 things is want to have sex. Okay, so what's the result you get? Want to have sex. Yes, so the response you get from him is him wanting to have sex. And if you want, you can even put period after that. Want to have sex, period. And that's it, nothing else. So everything else under, just like me, you can cross it out because there's no other responses. So if you only have these 4 things, shiny hair, shapely body, sexual energy, and sensuality. If you only have these 4 things, then all you get is him wanting to have sex with you.
It's not enough.
I know, and most women are working really hard, going to the gym, right? Getting into shapely body, and going to pole dancing, and so many things, wanting to have a long-term committed relationship, and just maybe getting laid and wondering what's wrong with me. How come I am not a wife material or girlfriend material? That's because we only worked and focused on the sexual attraction side. So there's nothing wrong with you, right? We're just turning the wrong side. So especially this happens when we're younger, because we don't know and we get insecure, and then we work really hard on this side. And all he wants is to have sex. And then the bottom part, the mode he becomes when you're just that, is take mode. He goes into take mode. It creates a hunger in him. So you become the refrigerator. Yeah. So you're walking around, right? You're this like delicious pie or I don't know, beef brisket or something that smells really good. And he's really, oh yeah, bacon, okay? And then like he's really hungry walking around and you just walk around like that. Then he goes in, open up the refrigerator. It's like, oh, bacon, great. Or, oh, sandwich, great. He takes it, he eats it, and sometimes he doesn't even say thank you, right? Because who says thank you to a refrigerator? Yeah. So most men are a little bit more cordial than that, right? They have the social acceptance level. But just know that what we have been taught to do and what we have been doing is almost like pressing the wrong button, right? We keep wanting to have affection, have heart-to-heart connection, and we've been pressing him to want to have sex with us. We're just bringing out his instinct of wanting to have sexual desire and creates a hunger in him who goes into a take mode. So what I want you to do right now is if there is an experience that you had in the past or maybe currently having where you feel like you're just being a refrigerator. And I'm sorry if you didn't know this and you've been hurt by this in the past. I wish this was taught in the middle school before we start going into dating. Unfortunately, we're given bad information. And that's what I'm here for. I want to give everyone a good information so you can make the right choice or know what's happening, right? Because it's not his fault that he's doing that. We're actually creating hunger in him by, putting our boobs up, right? And then if we see that, then we can be like, oh, okay, maybe I should hide my boobs on my first couple dates, or we know how to, if you know this, how you can adjust a little bit. So the last thing about this side of attraction, the sexual attraction side, so you often hear men say, oh, I'm physically attracted to her. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
And we often interpret it as, oh, he's attracted to my body, right? My physicalness. But actually, what we found out is when he say, I'm physically attracted to her, that means that part of him, somewhere around here, is physically attracted to you. So this side is all about below the belt attraction.
Oh, hated.
So, and you know what? The great news is if you have been in a long-term relationship for a long time and you need to, find the, what do you call that, passion a little bit, then you know what to do, right? Oh, and then one thing I forgot to tell you, the most attractive curve in woman's body is this, the smile. So you can smile, right? And then you can stretch and take a nap and have little shiny hair. And then you're back in a sack with your long-term boyfriend, for those of you who's in a long-term relationship. So it's a great news. I mean, men wish they had that power. Men says, oh my God, you ladies, you can get laid anytime. Why? If we're not picky. They don't have that option. They can just walk into a bar and do these things and then get to go home with any guy. Okay, so that's this side. Okay, so did you learn something new maybe? Something useful for your future dating, mating? Okay, good. And who's ready to learn the other side? Okay, the side that get men involved in with his heart, emotionally involved with you. So that's what we call charmed and enchanted. Because often men use that kind of word. She's charming, or I'm enchanted by her. And if you are with younger men who doesn't have as much vocabulary, then he, then he may say, oh, she's special. So any of those, you can think, oh, he's charmed and enchanted by me. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this side is I'm going to start with the responses and then come back to the causes. Is that okay? Okay. And the thing is, you want to have every man in your life be charmed and enchanted by you. It could be your boss, it could be your romantic partner, it could be your brother, it could be your dad, it could be your colleague, or the stranger who can put your suitcase up in the overhead compartment. So just remember that it's not just limited to your romantic partners. Okay, so when they're charmed and enchanted by you, then they're compelled to do all these things that I'm going to tell you now. So the first one is spending time with you. When they're charmed and enchanted by you, they're compelled to spend time with you. And what it looks like, maybe that he called you on Friday afternoon for a plan on the weekend. And you're like, didn't he get a memo? He should call me by Wednesday about this weekend. Well, and you're like, oh, well, I don't have anything going on, but I can't tell him that. Oh, I'm sorry. You said call me on Wednesday. I already have a plan. How about next week? Well, what if? And we talk more about this in the Queen's Code workshop, but men are single-focused. They are single-focused with their work. And the first thing they thought of when the weekend approached and when he's above the water is you. And he wanted to spend time with you because he's charmed and enchanted by you. So he calls you and he get rejected. Or other way it may look like is maybe you're going to a meeting and you walk into the conference room and your colleague catch up to you and say, hey, you going to that meeting? Oh, let me walk with you. Or maybe it's your friend and you're going to a picnic or you're coming back from a picnic and he asks you, oh, where do you live? Oh, okay, you know what? I can take 7 train and then I can switch over to 6 train. So, it may be a little bit detour, but I'll come with you, right? So he's just trying to find a way to spend time with you. Or maybe, oh, I'll walk you to the subway station, right? That's so a gentleman thing to do. So whenever you have someone doing that with you, know that they're charmed and enchanted by you. And I want you to start to think about the people in your life who are charmed and enchanted by you. Okay, so the next one. Oh, so I want to have you repeat it. What's the first one?
Spend time with you.
Yes, spend time with you. Okay, the next one is take care of you. When they're charmed and enchanted by you, they're compelled to take care of you. What do they want to do?
Take care of you.
Yes. So what it looks like is maybe not today, but on a cold, breezy day, he may offer you a jacket. And you know what we often do? We say, wouldn't you be cold? That's what we often do. We often reject them wanting to take care of us, right? Or carry our bags. And it's like, no, I got it. They're compelled to take care of us, and we often reject that. I have a really good example. One breezy spring, I was walking down the street with my good friend from work, James. And it was like exact same scenario. It's breezy, and he mentioned, oh, I have a jacket. It's in my bag, but I'm too lazy to get it out. And I casually mentioned, I wasn't even thinking, oh, I left my jacket at the office. I wish I had it. And 0.1 seconds later, the jacket came out. And who do you think it's for?
You.
Me, yeah. So he's too lazy to get it out for himself. But he wanted to take care of me. It's worth it to take care of me. So next time a man offers you a jacket, please accept them graciously. If it's not for you, accept it for him, because he was so proud that he had a jacket with him. You know, up until then, he's just like, oh, it's stupid that I'm carrying this around, that I'm not going to get it out. But now he gets to take care of me and make me warm. Okay, so the next one, when men are charmed and enchanted by you, they are compelled to protect you. What is that one?
Protect you.
Yes. And you know what? This could be a little bit annoying, because they may say things like, oh, don't get too close to the edge of the subway. Right? Or, oh, you know, maybe you want to take Uber after midnight. And here we are like, how long do you think I live in New York City? I got it. But what if they want to protect you because they can't imagine a life without you? What if they're compelled to protect you because they can't imagine a life without you? Think about that. They're not doing it to annoy us. They're not thinking we're stupid. No, they just can't imagine a life without us. Doesn't it give you a new perspective when next time your man says that? It's like, oh, sweet. And you don't have to listen to everything they say, right? It's just that we don't have to reject everything they say either. So you can work it out. And that's what we do in the Queen's Code workshop, where you communicate so that you both get the long end of the stick instead of the short end of the stick. That's what normally happens in the current culture. Okay. So the next one, when men are charmed and enchanted by you, they're compelled to contribute to you. What's this one?
Contribute to you.
Yes. They're thinking and thinking and thinking some way to contribute to you. What can I do to contribute to her life? And sometimes the things that come out of his mouth could be, stop buying those expensive shoes and buy some stock. Let me tell you a good stock to buy.
Oh, good.
And then here we are, it's like, what, you don't know? You don't think I know how to manage my finance? And then we get all up about it and start fighting him back, right? But what if he does those things, not because he thinks we're stupid, but he's compelled to contribute to you, and he has expertise in certain areas, right? Unfortunately, most of the time, their expertise is not shopping for shoes. So that's why they have to say things like, oh, well, let me help you find great stock, or, you know, other financial things, or maybe, you know, real estate, like whatever that they can contribute, they will try to contribute to you. And we're from like, no, I got it. Don't worry. I bought stock. I bought Apple stock when it was $35. I'm not going to listen to you. No. What if they just want to contribute to you. They just keep looking for a way to contribute to you. And you can even start to think about like your dad, right? Who's in different generation. And unfortunately, often once we're grown up, his advice may not really work in our generation, but he keep giving us all these advices. Well, what if he just wants to contribute to you? You can graciously accept his contribution and be happy that he cares about you and he want to contribute to you. And then you decide what to do with his contribution instead of turning it down. Make sense? Okay. So the next one is when men are charmed and enchanted by you, men are compelled to make you happy. What do they do?
Make you happy.
Yeah. So for men, woman's happiness is very important. And unfortunately, often we hear men say, "Oh, I can't make you happy. You deserve to be with someone who can make you happy." Yeah, a lot of us heard that because they're convinced that he can't make us happy. And we're thinking, God, come on. Like all you have to do is this. It's so easy. But unfortunately, the biggest complaint the men has is that they're not mind readers. Right? If that was a woman, they can read your mind. But they're not. And we also are taught to play hard to get. Right? Don't be happy with little things. And then he's convinced that he can make you happy and he leaves. And we're like, what just happened here? So know that it's very important for him to make you happy. And when he's asking you, what do you want to do for the weekend? I often say, what would make you happy to do this weekend? Or he say, do you want to go to a movie? Would that make you happy? So he's hunting to see if whatever he's planning on doing can make you happy. It's really important for him. And just so you know, you don't have to fake it, okay? Please do not fake that you're happy. You just have to communicate so that he can bring you what makes you happy. Okay, and the last one, the thing when men are charmed and enchanted by you, they're compelled to fall in love with you. What do they do?
Fall in love with you.
Yes. So it could be in a romantic sense, right? If there's a sexual attraction side and charmed and enchanted side, then it's fall in love, like in a romantic sense. But also, you can have your boss, your neighbor, stranger, fall in love with you for who you are, right? Without having the romantic sense too. So it applies to everyone in your life. And would that be nice if every man you come across fall in love with you? Can you imagine that? Your life would be so much easier. Yeah, I don't have a son, but there's so many of my students who are taking the workshop and say it works so well with their son too, because they're mini men, right? And they're born with so much testosterone too. And luckily, they're not, how would I say, they haven't been crushed enough times. So if you can treat him well and let him be a man, then he gets to flourish as a man instead of being wounded as a man. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you. Okay, so do you start to see which men in your life are charmed and enchanted by you? Yeah? Okay, so the mode that men goes into when they're charmed and enchanted by you is give. They want to give you. So it's the opposite of sexual attraction. They want to give you. They want to give you more time. They want to contribute to you, right? They're all about what can I do for her. Men often say, I care about you, right? Maybe you've been going out for 3 months and you're asking him, so where is it going? How do I feel about us? How do you feel about me? And then he say, I care about you, right? It's like he says it as if like it's a big deal. And we're like, what the hell? I care about you? Where's the L word? And often we use the care word when we're trying to dump someone, right? Oh, I care about you, but I don't think we're going the same direction. Oh, I care about you, but, right? So here we are thinking, shit, he used the care instead of the L word. So he's gonna dump me soon. Okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna dump him before he dumps me. Anyone's been there? So what he's actually saying when he said, I care about you, he actually is saying he's emotionally invested in you. So most of the time, when he used the care word, then the love is coming. And for some men, I care about you is more important than I love you. Because for some men, what he's saying when he said, I care about you, is I'm emotionally invested in you and our future together and our unborn child. So next time, when a man say, I care about you, don't drop him, okay? I personally experienced it, and thank God I knew this information. Right? This man I was dating, and he said, and I didn't even ask him, where are we? What do you think? But he said, I care about you. Like, it was a big deal. I'm like, it sounds like something I learned in the workshop, okay. And the next week was when he actually professed love to me. And I said, I love you. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I was so thankful that I didn't go into the K-woman attack and dump him thinking, oh my God, he care about me, really? So can you take that on? Next time, man in your life said, I care about you, know that he is emotionally invested in you. What is it? Emotionally invested in you. Okay, great. All right. So the next, before I move on to the causes, I would like to tell you some pitfalls of being charming and enchanting. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
So now that after this event, you're gonna be very charming and enchanting, right? You're gonna be walking out as a light being, and then you're gonna be very charming and enchanting to many men. And this thing may happen, so I want to warn you ahead of time. So when men are charmed and enchanted by you,